Hi, my name's Josh. I'm with Movek, and I'm here to talk to you about myMix. myMix is a personal mixing system for every member of the band so that each musician in a band can actually have their own mix. It's sort of a dream come true for every musician. If you're a musician, you know that if you have a gig where you can't hear things the way you want to hear them, you have to compromise. It's kind of a drag. So with myMix, we address that issue, and we make sure that the way we have created the product is in a way that keeps you in the creative mindset. It's designed for musicians, it's designed by musicians. So if you take a look at the screen, I can give you a quick overview of how it works. Every member of the band has a myMix. Every member of the band, once they're connected to a standard Ethernet switch, they are recognized on everybody else's myMix. The way you navigate myMix is you actually scroll to a channel that you want to adjust. In this case, we're going to adjust Eddie's bass. You press the jog wheel. You can adjust volume. You can adjust Eddie's tone, simple treble and bass. Remember, we're trying to keep you in the creative mindset. You can send Eddie's bass to an internal effect, which is either a reverb or a delay, and that's selectable on another channel. And you can pan Eddie's bass left and right if you want. And you can do these same things with every channel on the network. What's also cool is that I can solo every channel. I can mute every channel. I can do whatever I like with that. If I want to turn the entire mix up and down, I click on Master Volume, and it turns the entire mix up and down proportionately. So it maintains your mix, it just turns everything up and down proportionally. I can zero out the mix if I like, which puts everything back to its default mixing setting. Yes, I'm going to zero this out. If I go into settings, you can start with profiles. So a profile stores every setting that you have. So for instance, you may have a gig where you play in a gospel band on one night, and you may have one instrument, maybe you play bass, and you may have another gig where you play guitar. So you can actually change out the profile settings on the unit and recall them very quickly so that you don't have to set the unit up every time for every single gig. Let's go back to the screen here, and I can show you some more. You can select different styles of input. So you see on the top here, this unit will actually power a condenser microphone that requires phantom power. I can be in dual mono mode, which gives you two separate inputs which are separately named on everybody else's unit. I can be in mono mode, which is one input, which is one channel named on everybody's unit, or true stereo mode, where I bring in a stereo signal, but on everybody else's unit, they only have to turn up and down one channel volume name. Let me back out of this. The effect page is where you select your effect. In this case, we have a large hall selected. I can select a delay, I can select none, I can select small room, medium room, large room, small hall, medium hall, large hall, and that's a global effect that I can send any single channel to in any configuration that I would like. The master equalizer here is a 4-band parametric EQ with high and low shelving options. That allows me to tailor the output of the device to the actual listening device that I'm using. So I can listen through a wedge, and I may want to ring out some mid-range in a wedge. I can do that with this parametric EQ. I may want to listen on in-ears, and on in-ears I may want to brighten up an in-ear mix. I can do that with this parametric EQ. I may have headphones that are MP3 headphones that need some more bass, and I can do that. And the cool thing is, every time I make a change, it stores that in the profile. So every time I update anything in the current profile, it automatically updates it. Now, one of the coolest things that people like about this is I can actually go out, I can buy an SD card or a micro SD card or an SDHC card, any size I want. I can put it into the unit, and it's going to show me in a second here, based on how many inputs I have coming into the network, that I have 15 minutes and 40 seconds of recording on this SD card. I can buy a bigger one if I'd like. All I have to do is press record on the record button. I am now multi-track recording every input on the network to its own separate track on this SD card. In addition to that, I have actually a stereo mix of my own unit. So if I had an SD card in every unit on the network, I would be recording the same basic individual tracks that are unaffected and unprocessed, but each unit would have a different stereo mix that is on the SD card. And all I have to do is press the record button again. It stops the session. It says, would you like to name the session? Would you like to save the session? I can save it. I can take the SD card out. I can put it in Pro Tools or Logic or Cubase or GarageBand or whatever DAW you have. I can remix everything that happened either in rehearsal or live or anything like that. So not only is myMix a personal monitor mixer that gives you the option to mix it the way you want to hear it, but it's also a multi-track recorder, and you can multi-track record anywhere you want with myMix. The way they all connect to each other is with a standard off-the-shelf Ethernet switch. So you can have up to 8 units on a network. You can go out and buy an 8-port network switch for about $10 these days, or $15. If you really want to, and if you let's bring you around here to the back of the unit, you'll see that on this unit I'm actually powering the unit with a power over Ethernet switch. So if you want, you can go out and buy a power over Ethernet switch, and it will actually inject voltage onto the Ethernet cable and power the unit, so you don't have to use the included wall wart. And then one more thing I'll show you. Let's come on over here to these systems over here. What's included in the package is actually a mic stand that attaches to the unit. Okay, so you can actually use any of a wide variety of microphone stand adapters, or a microphone stand, or anything you want to mount myMix if you like. It ships with that. It also ships with a power adapter. So myMix is a really great solution, especially if you have volume wars, if you have times when you simply didn't like the mix. And as every musician knows, when you hear things the way you want to hear them, it's a heightened sensation. It's the best of the best. I'm Josh. I'm with Movek, and that was myMix.